If you like this video, make sure to subscribe to our channel and hit the notification bell icon to get the latest updates.
Hi everyone, welcome to the training on SAP Central Finance. This is Subham here. I have around 8 years of consulting experience plus training experience. I've taken multiple trainings on SAP S4HANA Finance as well as SAP Central Finance. So basically, like before going to Central Finance, we should understand what is S4HANA first, because Central Finance is basically based on top of S4HANA. So let's get to what is S4HANA first. So as we all know, I think most of you are working on S4HANA. So I will just have a quick introduction of S4HANA and then we will quickly move to the introduction. Today's session will be mostly introductory basis, introductory nature only, to have to know like what is central finance, so that on top of that we'll build the configuration and knowledge on how central finance is structured, how central finance helps the business, why central finance is required at the first place, even though there are multiple consolidation solutions already in place in the market by SAP and from other vendors as well. So what is S4 HANA first? So like S4 HANA is the fourth generation ERP which has been simplified on. It works on the S4 HANA database. So if it, as the name suggests, like S4 HANA only. So this is the suite for S4 HANA. And again, coming by on the memory side, so basically what has happened was earlier that there were memory requirements will be huge, data storage will take a lot of time, as well as if you see in uh, SAP ECC, if you for the accounting information, all the data will be stored in BSEC table. But even though like when SAP will suggest not to use the BSEC table, rather use the index tables like BSIS, BSIK, etc. The reason was that if you take the data directly from BSEC, the it will take a lot of time to process the data, and as a result, the system will get down to slow. So based on that, SAP introduced this S4HANA database, which has been working on like it will store the data in RAM, and we all know that RAM is very much faster than the will be faster than the fetching data from the read-only memory or the hardware. After it will be like, yes, this user interface was a revolutionary technology. Like earlier, when we are working, then it will have you will need to have the SAP GUI or SAP logon pad installed. Then only you can access SAP screens or SAP data. But with SAP Fiori, you can take the data directly from, like, you can log in from your mobile app or browser. You don't need to have the SAP GUI installed, or you don't need to be in front of the system to access the data. And as well as the rules were also quite improved with the um, SAP Fiori. Again, it simplifies the functionalities. Like if you like go back to S4 HANA and compare it with the ECC, there were a lot of functionalities which were improved, especially the introduction of the universal generals like AC.A, AC.P. So it reduced a lot of reconciliation effort. When earlier, if you see, like for CO to FI reconciliation, it was taking a lot of time, but now we have all the data reconciled in real time uh, whenever any entry is posted. And for any CFO, if you ask like what will be the biggest KPI for them, or what is the most that they want from any reporting system, not only as for HANA, they will say, okay, faster closing is my KPI. Where like it's fine that users are having access fast, but for any company, the legal reporting and that should be done as soon as possible after the closing. So we have the reconciliation issue resolved, we have all the data at one place, and now you can like use a single table to for all your FI reporting or FI based reports, even for the managerial reporting, which in turn will have a faster closing time. Now coming to like what are the implementation option, like whether it will be for S4 HANA, whether it will be for central finance. So both, since central finance is based on S4 HANA, it will, like, by default you need to have the S4 HANA license. On top of that, you will implement, like, take the central finance package from the SAP, and then you would be able to provide the central finance configuration or implement the central finance. So similar to S4 HANA, we can have all the three options for implementation of central finance as well, which is on-premise, so in which you will own the hardwares, everything will be stored, the data will be stored, and the hardware will be stored on the customer premises cloud, where you will be kind of renting the hardware or software from SAP directly, and then you will be implementing the central finance hybrid version, where we'll be using, like, mix of both cloud as well as S4 HANA on-premise versions. Like, for bigger entities, you can use the on-premise version. For a smaller version which have less customizations or the implementations, we can use cloud version, and then you can combine them both. For the reporting purpose, you will have one single source of truth, so everything will be, like, kind of on one click for the higher management to make the decision making. Now coming to implementation approach, so what do you think, like, in the central finance will have, like, whether it can have greenfield system conversion or landscape transfer? So CFIN project will always be part of your landscape transformation. Even though you implement a new uh, fresh version of central finance, you are not touching the processes which are being used in the existing system designs or existing ERP systems which are already in use. So your existing ERP system, if you are having central finance, a big MNC, it can have multiple systems. It may be ECC, it may not be ECC. And secondly, like, with big companies, always there will be mergers and demergers. So there will be new companies with separate set of process might be coming into the group, and some companies, for key business decisions, they might be moving out of the group or for selling, or it can be XYZ reasons. Uh, so for that, it is very easy to implement those scenarios, like either moving out of a company code or legal entity, or even including a new legal entity into the system. It will be very easy to get the reporting done without impacting their existing processes into their existing ERP. Whatever they are using, they can continue to use in the exact same way, and only the reporting part will be handled by a central finance in a, like, very non-disruptive way. So any questions still here?
Shubham, I just have one question. So, previous client has multiple systems, in the sense they have SAP and non-SAP systems, other ERPs as well, like PeopleSoft. So, and we can use the CFIN, we can implement CFIN and pull the data from non-SAP sources as well, right?
Yes. So basically, yeah. So we'll be covering this topic in the upcoming session as well, because when we take the deployment approach. But what happens is, if there is an SAP system, SAP will directly pull the data from the staging tables. Like, whenever there will be a trigger based approach, we will say that whenever there will be any accounting document posted or any document is posted, it will automatically log into the staging tables, and from there SLT will pick the data. But whenever there is any non-SAP system is involved, be it like PeopleSoft or other non-SAP, or even from SAP system, if it is business by one or business SAP business one, so in that cases also, like, directly based on, like, some SAP sessions, you need to pull the data into staging table, probably by a technical development. So once any document is posted, it comes into the staging tables in SAP. Like, so directly it will not be triggered based approach, rather a custom logic to pull the data into staging table, and from there SLT will pick the data, and it will be coming to central finance via real-time replication. But yes, we can implement any ERP system, be it SAP, non-SAP, or Does that solve your query?
Yeah.
Okay. Any other questions?
Hi, Shubham. I wanted to understand what is on-premise, cloud, and hybrid versions. So, can you please explain what is that?
Okay. So let's say that you are owning a laptop, like just a simple laptop. So when you have the hardware installed on your system, let's say that when we use, like mostly when we use our personal laptop, we have our ROM and RAM inbuilt in our system. So that means we have the hardware with us. So in that case, similarly, like if you have the on-premise version, so as you need to have your own hardwares, like you need to buy the memory separately, you need to have the like RAM separately. So basically there will be one room where you will be keeping the servers and then the data will be stored there. So everything like the data will be in your premise, like the even the hardwares for the memory that will be on your server, and then you can customize, like the solution will be you can customize and the data will be stored on premise. So that is on premise. But what happens is cloud is that uh, let's say that you are using a VMware or virtual desktop. So in that you open a link and then from that link it opens to a different virtual desktop and the configuration or the data is somewhere stored separately. When the, I mean, that means the server is somewhere else and you are using via a virtual machine. So similarly for cloud, uh, SAP have their own data warehouses where they have these servers installed. They provide the preset configuration which you can like fill and use as per your business need. And but yeah, the limitation with cloud is that you have very less option to customize. SAP will give various templates, various functionalities under which you have to fit your requirement, and customization options are very limited. So in the cloud version, you are not owning any hardware. You are kind of renting it on a subscription basis and you are implementing it. Hybrid version is when you are using both.
So, the basic requirement is that for CFIN, we need to have the S4 implemented on our systems first.
No,
So,
S4,
we have to purchase this from S.
yes, like S4 implemented is not required. S4 HANA servers are required. So basically you need to have S4 and then on that you need to have the CFIN business function package included, like implemented by the technical team. Then you're able to configure. So the database
Okay,
required
okay.
for central finance is SAP S4HANA. S4HANA implementation is not a prerequisite.
Okay, got it. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, Shubham.
Okay. Okay, so let's go to the next slide. So why S4HANA is required and what are the key drivers, like basically why any company should go for S4HANA. So before that, let's go understand a little bit more about CFIN. So in order to understand CFIN, you should know that it's like not just a functional technology, like that you can just once knowing the functional you can implement, just like let's say if you're implementing S4 HANA finance or FSCM for say. So once the technical team has done with the installation, you can go ahead do with like access the functional transactions and implement it primarily like mostly on your own if you have the prerequisite knowledge. But with central finance, like as its name itself suggests, that it is integrating multiple systems across the ERP nature. So it will have various other technical skill set will be required. Let's say from FSCM, you have FSCM knowledge you can implement, but for central finance you will have SLT requirement, technical notes should be implemented in source system as well as in CFIN system, and then some additional customization if MDGs you are using, then for MDG you will have MDG skill set is required. So that will be covering their roles in the subsequent session as well. But what we need to understand is like, since there are a lot of technical skill set also required apart from S4HANA. So primarily what we'll be covering is, as a finance consultant, what will be our role, into central finance project, like when we are working on the central finance project, be it implementation or be it from the run perspective or support perspective. Okay, so like okay, so let's go back to why central finance is required. So I think two people who are working on central finance. So can you like give an idea why business wanted to implement central finance for your systems? Like what was the use case for central finance?
Like in our current client, they have been using it for BW systems for reporting purposes and also for HFM as well. So basically, the central finance, they extract the data from the central finance, which is actually replicated into the BW systems through data loads, and then they use the BW system for the central query and for reporting purposes.
Okay. Yes. So with BW, like yes, as you said correctly, currently most of the clients are using BW for their consolidating the data. But BW, we have the challenge with the extractions and transformations, that the data will be transferred maximum once in a day, or for some clients they use once in a week also. So the data is not in the real time when you extract by any, like where the batch warehouse or wherever you are using the data. That is one of the challenges, that the data is not in the real time. Second is mapping and harmonization. So what do you mean by mapping and harmonization? So let's say that there is one company XYZ, and they have been operating in more than 50 countries. All the 50 countries will have different legal rules which they are following for their legal reporting. All the 50 company codes will have a different set of GL account, chart of accounts, and let's say even for same purpose, like let's say if they are reporting the assets in the one system, there can be different numbering for GL account. On other system, there can be different numbering for GL account. So when you are extracting, let's say to the BW, then it will have the same data. It will not be harmonized to a single GL account, because ideally assets from both the company codes or across the company codes, those should go into a one set. So even though you have the data in the BW at a delayed time, then also you are not able to use it right away. You need to do so many manual calculations to have the data right in a specific format or in a specific like set, which you can use for group reporting. So which will lead to your reconciliation issues, because 50 is different set of data, you do manual work, and more the manual work you do, higher the chances of manual mistakes and subsequently delay in reporting or delay in the decision making if it is for managerial reporting. Then again, it's very difficult to validate the data if you are having, let's say, 50 different set of data. And again, there can be many company codes which you are, as you said, like for if it is non-SAP systems are also involved, then it becomes more complex. You need to, and the data will be in one warehouse for the one systems like SAP systems. It can be connected to different BW systems, or it can be some data can be into other systems as well. And to integrate again, you will need some other technologies which will extract, which will calculate the data on the go, which will again lead to further delays. Then coming to business issues, which is arising out of the complexities that we discussed. So one will be limited transparency. You cannot trace back to the issue if you face any inconsistency or the issue. Let's say that if you face a difference of some amount, it will be very hard for you to find like where is the exact error, whether the system calculated in after the BW or BI data has gone wrong, or the data in the source system which came, that itself was incorrect. So that will be very much difficult to trace back, which will result in the productivity issues, because during reporting time already you are working on the, or the business is working on the tighter deadlines, and such delays which can be caused by these differences will lead to the reporting delays, as well as the employees will be frustrated that this is, the system is having so many errors. Okay, coming to any questions on this? I will take silence as no questions. Again, coming to like what will be the business benefits if you adopt, or if business adopts to central finance. So one is that you will be centralizing processes across systems. So if you need to have any process improvement, if you want to have the central payment activated, let's say, then currently the business is operating into chunks. So if they have multiple system involved, they will have different shared service centers or different vendors who will be performing the those shared service. Let's say for payments, usually companies will outsource to a different company, and they will be operating for few company codes, and there will be multiple partners involved who will be following this processes separately for each country or each ERP systems. But when you implement S4 HANA central finance, so you can, like, everything you can maintain in one system, and then only maintenance of that system will be required. Like in the central finance, you will be following those processes, and it will be traced back to and fro from source system to central finance system. So in this case, you will be having like the business will save costs by centralizing the process, as well as it will simplify the process, which is a big benefit for any business, to have the simplified business processes. All the data is at one place, all the data is on the real time. So these are few big benefits for the business with central finance systems. And again, as I said, like central processes will be on one, at one vendor or at one place, centralized. So it will ensure that everything is on the top of the higher management, especially for those who are involved with the group reporting or group level decision making. For them, it is nothing but a blessing. Any questions till now? Again, this part we have already covered in the earlier slides. So this is a data flow, means flow for the, when we are using any data warehouse systems, let's say BWC. So you will have all the systems connected to the warehouse systems, and then you will have the data flowing from this via RFC or via APIs, wherever the data is connected. And then you will have either weekly or daily batch job schedules, which will move the data from one system to another, like, and then it will be like, yeah, you need to reconcile before reporting at the group level, which will be having a manual work, and it's difficult to drill down to the original source in case of any inconsistencies, or even if there is no inconsistency, you want to check whether how the data came from. So with the drill down facility is not available if you're using these systems, any warehouse systems. Okay, so this will be a typical structure when you're using central finance system. or when you want to implement a central finance system. So this will be your primary structure. Like you will have these systems multiple, whether it will be like it should be SAP R3 4.6 and above. If your SAP which the source systems are on is having less than this version, then you need to contact SAP. SAP will implement some further nodes, and then you will be able to implement central finance on those source systems. Directly you will not be able to implement. Then your ERP systems, which are primarily SAP source system, or in non-SAP ERPs, it will come all the ERP systems, all the non-SAP ERPs, as well as if you're using SAP Business One also. Then also it's treated like for central finance perspective, all the processes for that is treated similar to if you're using a non-SAP system. So SAP Business One is mostly used by small businesses for which are using the SAP ERP. So the structure will be these systems connected to an SLT system. SLT is nothing but it will be the staging table. Like it, SLT has many other business cases as well, but mostly it is recommended by SAP to use SLT for the intermediate data transfer. And then SLT system will be connected to S4HANA Central Finance System, which will transfer the data in real time. So what you will get after implementing central finance is that instant insight, like whatever the data is posted, almost immediately it will be available. We'll discuss again about the delays which can happen, or the errors which can happen due to inconsistent configuration, inconsistent master data, or missing master data, or multiple reasons. So that we'll be covering in future lectures how to handle that. You will have all the data at one single source of truth, which is AC Doka. It will be on real-time basis, unlike the other data warehouse system which we are using for consolidating. And the one again additional benefit which we get by implementing central finance is that we can build our processes on top of the data which has come. So it's not only that the data which has come to central finance, it will have the data replicated, and then you just need to report. So it's not like that. After having the data, you can build additional processes, you can plan the data, you can have the group reporting, you can even have the cash balances analyzed, or you can have the central payment dunning, etc., from the data which is there in the uh, central finance system. So which is one major difference compared to any other consolidation tool in the market today. Again, user experience with Fury, it will be, since most of you are working on S4 or finance, you already know about the Fury. And again, since the reconciliation issues are reduced by quite a lot, like almost nil reconciliation issues you have, you can, your closing time will be reduced for the group. And yeah, you can drill down the data. Let's say that you have a document which is posted from source system to central finance system. So from that you can get to know what was the document which came from your source system or sender system. And then if there is any mismatch in the balances, it will be very easy to get the root cause of why the difference came. Or you can even drill down from multiple reports to the sender documents. And also you can build the analysis for office reports based on the data, and then you will have a very much granular report which you can like almost see till the sender GL account, to what it was posted in source account, to what it was posted in central finance, and whether there is any mapping issue, harmonization issue. Till that you can get the data. Any questions on this central finance structure?
Shubham, sorry here. So without RFC connections, it will load the data from source to target system, or only it will load to only SLT level.
Can you come again? I missed your
No,
first part.
without RFC connections, it will load the data to transfer, or only it should be required to the only SLT level.
So it will be connected to your source system will be connected to SLT, and SLT will
Yeah.
be connected to the central
Uh,
finance system. So the data flow will be like that. So from source system to SLT and SLT to central finance.
Center finance. Okay.
So in that also we have two part when we'll
Hmm.
discuss when the replication start. One is that initial load. So before you start, you need to transfer the balances or open items,
Yeah,
and,
yeah. Okay.
and then from once you complete the implementation, then the real-time replication will start. So those have little bit different strategy of how the data is fetched from SLT or via RFC. So
Okay.
that we'll discuss in detail in the upcoming chapter.
Sorry, can you show us so like a system for particular practically, then only we'll come to know what should be the so like a source to target systems for the setups configurations.
Yes, probably. So
Then it would be the so like everyone will get the chance to they own so like get the things under.
yes. Once you get the system access, I agree that once you have practiced directly on the system, you will have the
Mm-hmm.
complete idea. So,
Okay.
so once you have the system access, I will go through the system landscape directly in the system as well. So, but here, like right now, you are using ACC system or any S4 HANA system. So on that, there will not be any changes. That will be posting as usual, and the same data it will come to central finance system with new mapping. So again, yeah, probably on third lecture we will cover how the mappings are
And
covered.
one more question. So it's required to MDG to set up all the configuration, or we can load the data from source to target. So actually we are using here BD10 or BD12 to box, so to get the IDAC to flow the data. So like a vendor, customer or materials. It's required to set up for the MDG also.
MDG is recommended by SAP, but not mandatory to use as MDG. You can implement without MDG as well. Uh,
Okay.
but MDG is recommended solution by SAP. But yes, once you are using IDOC, like currently if you're using any IDOC, so directly you cannot have the, like you need to customize the IDOC segments before using it, because there will be a new segment. Because once, let's say that you are using GL account 1 in your source system,
Mm.
so and with the similar properties, there can be, let's say, GL account 5 with similar property in another system. And
Yeah.
with central finance, you want to consolidate. So you will ideally business will need that GL1 from your system and GL5 from different system. So to come back to a single GL in central finance. So you will need that mapping. So if you are using IDOC, you need to customize such that both GL1 and GL5 they come to a one single GL, let's say GLX in the central finance system. So those customization will be required, but yes, that is feasible.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Okay, so coming to this slide. So this first two parts we have already covered. What are the benefits of the central finance system? And yes, like companies agree that they have these benefits, but main challenge comes in the implementation, like where most of the companies, big companies, they have a very complex ERP structure, and it's very difficult for them to migrate or upgrade to a single system, because uh, the each system will have their own challenges in coming to a standard set of process if they want to transform their systems separately. So for that, central finance comes as a blessing for them, that they don't want, if they don't want to change the processes in source, but they want to have the benefits which S4 HANA is offering. So this is probably the only way which they can have it, by implementing the central finance system. And second is that if they want to migrate to any S4, like if they are an ECC, if they want to migrate to the data, migrate to S4 HANA system like separately via greenfield or by brownfield approach. So that becomes a very big project for them, and you don't know if the migration will be successful or not, because those have a lot of challenges, especially on the logistic parts. Each plant will have their own set of challenges in migrating the data, and only for like mostly CFOs or in, they will be worried about the group reporting at the group level on the central finance. So they want to have the consolidated financial data, but you don't want to migrate to S4 HANA separately, or you want to migrate to S4, take the benefits of S4 HANA faster, then central finance is a relatively easier and non-disruptive way to implement the S4, like take the benefits of S4 without changing the processes or without hampering the existing system landscape. Again, this will cover more like when we check in the systems directly how we are migrating the data and all, and then you will get to know the benefits. So once the system accesses are ready, we'll go back to this again. So now coming, what are the options available for any customer if they want to transform the processes? So, and then what is the best options for them or relatively easier risk? So one is that upgrade and migrate, like if they are using, let's say, multiple SAP systems as well, so they can migrate to one S4 HANA system. They don't like XYZ, like there are multiple SAP systems, they can migrate to one single S4 HANA system. Again, this will be a time taking process for them, because S4 HANA project in itself takes longer time. Then you need to have all the workshops starting from scratch for all the modules, all the processes. So this will be a multi-year long project for them, and as a result, businesses usually they will be hesitant to upgrade to S4 HANA if they don't get the benefits, or even if they decide to upgrade, it will be a benefit that they will get in long term rather than immediate, once the S4 is implemented, rather than the immediate. Again, upgrade, migrate and consolidate, this will again have two business regions when they have this setup. One is that some of their ECC systems are on lower versions which does not support migration to S4 HANA directly. In that case, they will have to, not want to, they don't have choice, they will have to upgrade to a higher ECC versions, and then they can migrate to S4 HANA. Other cases is that one of the clients which I worked, they had multiple SAP systems for one country itself. And before migrating to S4 HANA, what we did was we upgraded like their migrated systems, like multiple clients into one client first, and then migration to S4 HANA was done. Then again, the third way, which will be primary focus of our discussion across this session, will be the central finance approach. So in this, we will not be doing anything on the source system from the process perspective. There will be some technical development which will be required, but we will not be having any processes change or any major process change across the source system. And then we will have the data replicated to S4 HANA central finance replication. So yeah, one thing which I haven't covered, it seems that everywhere we have mentioned SAP ERP as only, but is it possible to, or if the business wants, can they do SAP ERP or S4 HANA to S4 HANA central finance? So yes, that is also possible. Let's say that we have multiple SAP ERPs and some entities have already migrated to S4 HANA on a separate systems. So they can migrate from SAP S4 HANA, SAP ERPs, and SAP Business One, SAP other like non-SAP ERP systems also. They can migrate to one separate S4 HANA central finance instance as well. So it's not only that SAP ERP or non-SAP ERPs can be migrated to central finance. Even if the business is already using SAP S4 also on for some of their entities, they can also migrate to a separate central finance for the group reporting perspective. Any questions till earlier slide? Okay, coming to the central finance, how it is usually discussed. One is the deployment options, which we have already discussed in the earlier slides, that central finance in general, when people say central finance, they will mean that okay, they want to have the central finance for the consolidation purpose, or they want to deploy central finance. One is it is used in represent. Second is that in the first slide, as I said, it's about the landscape transformation. Like whenever you are implementing central finance, you are not using greenfield approach, or you are not using upgrade options or brownfield approach. Rather, you are doing a landscape transformation project where you are consolidating the existing systems into a separate landscape for like to report at the group level, or to consolidate the financial data from across ERPs, be it SAP, non-SAP. And then on top of that, you can perform, especially like the group reporting and BPCs are getting popular on central finance. Okay, this part we have already covered, so maybe if you have any doubt, you can ask, or the slides will be provided so you can access. If you have any questions, you can use the LMS portal for asking, even if you get any questions at later point after the session. Okay, these are the same benefits. Like SAP Central Finance, ideally it uses the same, all the functionalities which are provided by SAP S/4HANA. So in a faster way, like you reduce the time required to implement, and then you get the benefit like almost quite faster than what you will get with the S/4HANA implementation. You will have all the central processes executed from one single system, which will save a lot of time, which will like consolidate your shared services across systems, like shared services from multiple different vendors, multiple different geographies to one system, which will reduce issues, which will, like I have seen one of my previous client, they have like had multiple issues with the vendor relation or stakeholder management. So with central finance, all those when they executed the central payments, those issues were also like reduced, because for one, if they have same vendor which you are dealing with multiple entities, then you can pay them in a single time rather than paying part payments from multiple different shared service centers or multiple different processes. So these processes not only help in getting your shared services uh, straight, rather it also helps in your stakeholder management and happy vendors and customers. Also, like one additional benefit from central finance is that you have, once you have all your data migrated at one single place, financial data, and then at later point if you want to migrate to S4 HANA, like the full-fledged S4 HANA, it provides a non-disruptive way, like all your financial data source system processes are already being reported, and then you can connect to S4 HANA separately once the implementation is done, and then that new instance of S4 HANA you can connect to the CFIN system. So your S4 HANA migration post that will go flawless. So central finance is considered as one of the most non-disruptive way to pave the path for central finance S4 HANA implementation. Any questions? Okay, coming to further benefits of central finance, why any business, like this will mostly help you if you are preparing the POC for, or if you want to pitch for any central finance project, or for how to convince to businesses like why they should use central finance, or you want to understand what led to a business to decide whether they want to move ahead with the central finance. So group reporting we have already covered, and one is that this can be almost kind of any business model, any system. It can be used for implementing in a very faster way. So let's say that if there is an merger and one new company code has been acquired by the group, so for that also you don't need to have the like complete S4 or the upgrade project to have the transform the data into your, or the systems into your existing ERP systems. What you need to do is, if they are using a SAP system, you can directly connect via SLT and real-time replication will be started. If they are using non-SAP system, you can use Unity or to have the data in the staging tables, and then from that you can uh, get the data, financial data for reporting in central finance system. Again, once you have the replicated, you will have the real-time data, and on top of that you can perform planning as well as group reporting. Again, most of you would be aware about analysis for office, which is very user friendly, and in kinds of you get the data in the Excel format. So business user especially, who are not much aware of the uh, from the technology perspective, they have been habituated with the Microsoft Excel because all the data is kind of on their fingertips. So you can get the data using AFO, analysis for office, directly from AC Docker, and based on the custom reports to in Excel format, and based on that users can modify the parameters in real time. So it's kind of on the fly customizing by business users, not the consultant, and means consultants also can do, but business users also can modify the reports as per the requirement using AFO, and it will be like a blessing for them to prepare the reports and analyze, and even they can do the drill down to source documents using AFO reports, and it will be pretty much they will be self-sufficient for any preparing any reports and all. There will be multiple central processes which can execute, like dunning, central payments, etc., which you can do directly. Central payment is nothing but currently each system will be doing their payments separately. With central payment, you can consolidate all the vendor payments and you can do it in one go directly from central finance systems for the data which is already replicated into central finance system. These parts we have already covered. Any questions till now? So these are some statistics how central finance helped businesses across, and then you can see that businesses earlier who were having challenges in complying with the regulatory requirement, they did so with ease after central financing inclusion. And for cross entity financial statement, there was a huge improvement for them. And as I said, like the central finance implementation is quite faster than the traditional ERP implementation or S4 HANA implementation. And you can even start the replication quite faster. Like I will not give any specific time because it will depend upon project to project, complexity to complexity, and how much they can fit it into the standard approach of central finance. And then, but yes, you can have at least 3 times faster than the central finance normal S/4HANA finance implementation. So I think yes, as someone asked, like how will we have the central finance helping on the group reporting, like if they have GL1, GL2 into, like they will have a separate chart of account into each system. And since we'll be consolidating all the chart of accounts from multiple ERP systems or even non-ERP system into one chart of account into central finance system, so it will be having group reporting, it will help. So if I need to explain, let me. Let's say it is ERP1. All this they want to migrate to a single GL. So in central finance, they want that this data should be coming to a single system. So like this is their individual chart of accounts which they're using different naming convention, and in central finance it will have like one chart of account. So what will happen is, let's say that I will say local chart of account, LCOA, and in central finance your chart of account will be in central finance. You have, let's say you are using a group chart of account. So what will you do is that will map LCOA GL1, and then you will have your company code as well. So let's say that in your source chart of account, your company code 1 they are using, and in central finance you will map it similar to chart of account, which will be your group chart of account. Then what will be your GL account in central finance, and the company code which you have used in central finance. So it can be CFIN1. So similar to that, you will have mapping for all the objects which you are using in central finance systems. So mapping part will cover how the mapping will be done, but this will be a sample mapping. If you are having chart of account, payment terms, like there will be a lot of mappings. Even for any, in fact, any value field, any field which you have in the source ERP, you can map to central finance. Whether if you want to have the same values in central finance, if you want to have different values, so you can map it. You will have the choice to configure how you want the mapping to be done. Okay, as we said, we can have in a similar way, we can, if there is any new company code added, we will map their system's company code and other things to central finance system, and then we can use it. Okay. I think most of these parts we've already covered. If you have any doubt, you can, in the LMSs. Any questions for today's session?
Yeah, I posted one question on that on the chat. If you can answer that.
Okay, so let's say that if you have implemented the central finance system, so with the central payment, so there will be, again, this will be covering when we cover the central payment lecture. But to give you an idea, let's say that if you have implemented the central payment, so as soon as you push the open items, it will be marked as technically cleared in the source system. So in that, your payment status will not go back to source once it is paid. It will be marked once the open item is posted, it will be marked as technically cleared, and all the payment related like open item or how much payable is pending, that you have to check from the central finance system itself. Okay, if there are no questions, we can close the session for today. So one or two more session, we'll try to cover the basics of central finance, and then we'll move to the practical side along with the theory, so that you will have the complete idea of what we are doing and why we are doing it. So yeah, I will request you to go through this introduction to central finance, and if you have any questions or on the, even though it's not covered, if you have any question in mind, you can raise it through LMS, or we can discuss into next session as well.
Yeah, thank you, Shivam. Thank you all.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you for attending the session. I hope you all enjoyed it. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel. Also, feel free to ask your questions in the comment section below, and we will reply to them at the earliest.